All right, welcome back. It's time for us to get into the communities around the country and focus on what's going on there. Well, today we're taking you to the Volta region, and commuters there are, complaining about some of the speed ramps that have been, put up by different people because they feel that the speeds within their communities are too high, and the speed ramps are not what they're supposed to be. And I should say that it's illegal, to touch a road, even if your intention is just to, put a speed ramp to mitigate the speed challenges you're having in your community. It's actually illegal to do it if you don't have the permission of either urban roads, if you're in an urban area, or roads and highways. All right, it's actually illegal. But some people do it, and we see it. We see it in our communities. And some people do it. Let's go to the Volta region, to Ho-Adidome Sogakope Road specifically, and take a look at what is happening over there. We'll come back and we will delve further into conversations regarding road furniture, the different things that are there supposed to dress up the road to allow it to be easy for us to use as commuters or pedestrians.
Road safety and the increasing death toll on Ghana's roads remain a prominent emotive issue with terrible impact on communities and families. Quality road transport infrastructure is very critical to ensuring road safety for all. Under Ghana Highway Authority's regulations, speed ramps or road ramps are constructed to regulate the speed of vehicles on our roads to prevent accidents. Speed ramps usually go with traffic signs and pavement markings. These traffic signs alert road users, especially drivers, of a speed ramp ahead. Standard speed ramps are usually 3 to 4 inches high, but in some communities, illegal speed ramps which are constructed with rocks, sand, wood, and any other material available can be as high as 1 foot, which becomes difficult for cars to navigate. In some parts of the Volta region, road users will have to spend some extra minutes just to get to their destinations as a result of these illegal speed ramps erected by communities along the road. In the Adaklu and Central Town districts of the Volta region, illegal speed ramps erected by community members are gradually damaging the road. Some drivers who spoke to Citi News say their journeys become tiresome in addition to spending more to fix damages to their cars as a result of these ramps. They want authorities to put in measures in constructing standard ramps to ease their frustrations.
Ramp ola food enemy ala gbogbo. Time do crash enemy package la me pe time ogbana. Na be shock as over ogbana chi. Abe at times ra na exam he lilies wela e gadget la me pe andapano pete son pe pete ogbana. Abe mi pena fo ape ka gbojere. Mi wo to ramp la. Fimi wo pete la egblen. Ta ne ramp ho are moment echi du tepero ta pozo so o pe ganre le fimi o ta o le fure ne mi pa o mi jibe no gbo o wa fimi o ne mi fimi o he gblen sigbela no gbo feel ki o he ramp no la no gbo dere fimi o no gbo wa mo fimi o ne mi
speed ramp na vie o wela ele mi abo gblen o mo we nwi re kra chere mojo le ngbokpo no la like speed ramp adeje specific o we ralu la pause zo ado fuma emla fan vite de tobite la ele wo gbelenemi pli etoma no no wa nyuito azan block allo road safety to wa nyuito la emakra megbelen.
Some residents in some of the communities where these illegal speed ramps are located have been speaking to Citi News and explain why they have erected the speed ramp.
Nketa hemi we da nyebela wo le speed de vio le kuku de vide do kocho school compassion poji va yeko bai e de denu nu ma ko force mi ya mi we le speed akpa
me face a lot of problem le amo me chochofe akpaji le mia de le fia si que mia vio mia to mia no vio au coup de meza la be gai mo wa mo vola mi susube jidudu alo highway store la we have our original ramp. Ike ako na more chuchu le more mesike a reduce high speed be miano view alo mia be mia mo maga no kuku kake o amo vola o meton va ewunu ne miu ta enabela mia ba mo chro za ta na be juko me mianto mi va jabagba be mia jabagba be mia va a wa monu popore alo mia to monu popore aji block de alokere ko a ram de moji klisusuela speed enula ne avaingba vide.
Assembly member for the Adaklu Hlepe electoral area, Makuhinyeko, has been speaking to Citi News.
When the road was untarred, you know, the speed limit of the cars that apply the road is so much less. So this whole thing started when the road became tarred and the cars were speeding on the road. So there came a time there were knockdowns. There was one time a student or a pupil was knocked down by a motorbike. Now another day a car knocked down an old lady. So the youth got agitated and one night before we could realize they mobilized themselves and they had a speed ramps here. Agreement for the ramps. We did so many follow-ups. We've been to highways. They were here on so many instances. What they said was that the road is not completed yet, so we would have to hold on. But you know, the youthful exuberance, you know, the youths keep on agitating. And there was one night before we could realize they mobilized themselves and they got the speed ramps on the road.
According to the assembly member, despite the illegal speed ramps constructed by the youth, there is the need for a standard speed ramp to prevent speeding on the stretch.
We continue telling them, and today I would also use the opportunity to tell them they would have to hold their fight. That is why they have leaders, and we are there to speak for them. We are doing all things possible to see to these things, get the road completed and the appropriate ramps on the road. So they should be calm. They have their leaders, and we are there to speak for them.
All right, so that report was brought to us by Selassie Ago, who is a correspondent there. So we really need to look into this matter quite seriously. But before we speak to Engineer Mahama, I just want to say a big welcome to Apioko. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. Well, how are you?
It's good to have you here.
It's good to be here.
All right. Well, we looking at this story here of the bad road. Should I say the road themselves are good, right? But the
driver behavior is a problem.
Well,
and
there's
so
that.
They've tried to
Yes.
create a solution,
Yes.
which is also causing
problems. You see, and I think that for me, one of the things that happens is. And I used to live in Winneba some years ago, and it was that's the first time I realized, I didn't know this, that it's actually illegal if you go and touch structurally what the roads and highways has built.
So roads are public resources, right? So just like you can't get up and go and touch a street light, go and change the bulb yourself, or you can't go and, just walk onto some road and go and put barricades there. It's the same principle. There's a reason why when people are, say, demonstrating, for they're exercising their civic rights, you have to go and let certain authorities know, the police, perhaps your municipal assembly, all that, because these are public things that everybody enjoys. So you can't just get up and go and put something on the road. Think of, so when you own something, right, personally, somebody just can't come and enter your house and come and decide that there's no grass here, so I'm planting grass. It's the same principle, and then there are ways, I'm sure we'll speak to engineers soon, there are ways in which these things are supposed to be constructed so that they don't affect the vehicles. You realize a lot of these illegal speed ramps, You go over them, before you realize your tire is flat.
Oh, yeah.
Or something has scraped the bottom of your car.
Exactly.
There are angles to it. There's a slope.
Yeah.
It has to be done in a certain way. The materials have to be done in a certain way.
Even some of
it's
the
not
ones
just
we
for
saw,
fun.
even some of the ones we saw, you realize that over time it wasn't built well. Over time, it's exposed now, and it's exposing iron rods and other things. You know, danger to vehicles.
Completely, completely. So it's not supposed to be done. On the flip side, though, can you blame the people? They're living in communities. You mentioned living in Winnipeg.
Yes.
So that's just prompted me. There's a time at some point last year where we were doing a lot of Accra, Jumako, and at one point I believe it was at Apam. People had just come to construct.
Yes.
I mean, so we had gone there one weekend. The next weekend we went there and there were illegal speed ramps. And they said it was because
and
over
Apam
a
Junction
period
is one of the places that they have a lot of loss of life.
Yes, over a period of a week, they had lost about 3 or 4 people, and so they were taking the situation into their own hands. You know, and these are the kinds of things that happen. You know, when people feel as though they are not being given the protection and social security that they need. You know?
I think one of the, we'll talk to Engineer Mahama in a moment. One of the things I have found as an intervention that seems to sort of straddle the two. So it's like there are no speed ramps. There should be speed ramps, but again, we don't want illegal speed ramps that are going to create issues. Is using of these
the ropes,
the thick ropes. You know, for me,
the shipper's rope.
The shipper's rope. Yeah, it's not. It's sort of like a nice in between way. You can easily remove the rope when you need to remove the rope, but then it does slow down. The speeding vehicles and so on. But Engineer Abdullahi Mahama has joined us on the line. Engineer, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, David.
Yes, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Okay.
How about you?
Very well, thank you.
But they jealous you.
Why are they jealous me?
You are always rotating the beautiful ladies in your set.
Oh, Engineer.
It's the work.
Engineer, just come and visit us one of these days. We also like to sit with you.
It is not too much, it's concrete and
yeah. So Engineer, yesterday we were speaking about traffic lights. Today we're talking about illegal speed ramps. I want us to contextually look at all of these issues. Road furniture, all right? Let's first of all address the issue of the speed ramps. Why is it that the assemblies that are in these communities where illegal speed ramps are erected don't seem to be doing anything about dealing with them? Who is supposed to act in this regard, when an illegal speed ramp comes up? And then again, who do you blame for their youth in the middle of the night waking up and deciding that we're going to put up a speed ramp because, of course, they know they can't do it during the day, right? And so how do we deal with this? How do we solve this?
Right. I will say a good morning to your fellow viewers. And let me just give a scoop on the Ghana Highway Act at 540. As one says, that a person shall not, without the written permission of the authorities in Ghana Highway, make an excavation in a trunk road or C, construct an access road to link to a trunk road. So even people who are accessing a trunk road where they have factories, warehouses along the highway, and not on their own, just construct a road from their warehouses or their factories onto the highway, because it may interfere with the smooth flow of vehicular movement on the highway.
Okay.
So in the event that you have a factory or warehouse along the highway, you must write a letter for applying of access to the Ghana Highway Authority.
Okay.
And they will look at your design, how you want to access the highway, either entry or exit.
Yeah.
And whether it will be injurious to motorists in the particular location where your factory is situated.
Yeah.
Now, when these things are done, they will come with their safety audit people, come and audit the safety, condition challenges that they will have encountered with or confronted with, before they will actually alter your design how to slip in or slip out on the main carriageway so that it will not be injurious to other motorists who are using the road. Now, in the event where you don't, go by this law, the Act 3 says that a person who contravenes to Section 1 and 2 of what I just stated commit an offense and is liable for a conviction of a fine not exceeding 150 penalty units or not a minimum sentence of 3 months or both. So if anybody is actually caught, let me say that maybe the authority come to report to the police and you are taking on, and you don't actually follow all these basic requirements, you may be sentenced on a minimum of 3 months and the penalty is 150, no more than 150 penalty units. So that is the same thing that applies to those who construct the speed humps on the road. But basic common sense must always apply to our driving on the road. You don't necessarily need to have the speed humps in a community, because when you go to do the driving, you are told that as all the requirements, when you are approaching a town, there are adequate information that you are approaching, let's say, city, TV, community. And so, common sense, you lift your leg off the pedal and you start to drive within the regulated speed of 30 km per hour from 50 to 30 and even lower than 30 once it's a very congested area. And when you move out the outskirts of the community, then you can now go by the design scheme. So the same drivers who are complaining across the country are the necessary evils, because they are the same people who are not actually applying the basic common sense in driving. And so when I'm in a community and 3 or 4 people are knocked down by a vehicle, obviously, for us to protect ourselves, and maybe the process of going across, reporting to assembly also expecting action, or maybe dealing with the urban roads, if it's an urban road construction or a road or a highway, before the people would wait for the bureaucracy to finish. Maybe a lot more people might have actually been knocked down. But it's still illegal. So, in as much as we are going to blame the residents for mounting the speed modes on the road, the first culprit are the drivers who are not applying the basic common sense on the driving. So that's one. Now the second thing is that the assembly who have access, who are the custodians of that community, ought to be up and doing it. They have an urban roads rep. In every assembly in Ghana, it's expected that there should be an urban road and a feeder road rep. But because Ghana Highway is an authority, they don't have the rep at the local assembly because they are an authority. But they have what we call the area managers who are managing the whole area. So if the road falls under the Ghana Highway Authority, the area manager should be briefed from the assembly if there's some of this, so that he can now take it on to the regional office and to national if they don't have money to actually construct the design speed ramp in the community.
Let me ask you, the use of these shipping ropes that we've been seeing lately, is that an okay intervention?
No, the Ghana Highway Authority has not approved of anything like that. But it's becoming a temporary measure. Let's say if a road is being constructed and there's a small diversion and they want to just slow the traffic maybe a week or 2, but that is the authority itself or the contractor. They could actually put those things there, but they will still be giving you the adequate information that there's a ramp, more or less, but they won't just say rope. It's supposed to do what we call the speed calming measure. So there will be adequate information that ahead of you, about 200 meters away, it's a speed calming measure, so be careful. When they are done, they will remove and then maybe now look at the right location to actually put the speed ramp before they actually open the road for motorists to use.
But these ropes actually function in a certain sense a bit like rumble strips. You know, is it not something that maybe we should look practically at these communities where there are rampant knockdowns as a way of slowing down, vehicles. If drivers will be recalcitrant, force them to slow down by putting 2 or 3 ramble strips in the town. If the main road is passing through the town, instead of maybe the cost of building speed ramps may be prohibitive over a long term, why not use the ropes?
Well, the ropes, I should have just had a picture about 2 days ago. I used a community by name Kotobi.
Okay.
And the ropes that they are put at almost 200-meter interval, all the places have developed potholes. Because there's something we call punching. Some of the ropes are a bit hard, and as the vehicles slow down when they get there, there's this sudden drop of the vehicle's weight onto the road. So the ones I saw, I think 3 days ago, out of the 10 that I saw, 11, about 70% of them have developed potholes just at the same location.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I could send the pictures to you when I pass the end time the course of the week, so you can use it for one of your programs.
I see. That's interesting.
Exact locations of the ropes have developed potholes across the road. Because you have the protection of stones getting closer to the rope, and once there are these sharp stones that vehicles punch on them, once they just create one small hole, and they will it allows the ingress of water into it. That is the susceptibility of the road. That's one of the causes of the failures on the road. So I have made a point several times that even in the event when we have properly designed speed hump, at the 2 approaches of the speed hump, there should be a rigid pavement. In this case, either a concrete or pavement blocks, about 30 meters minimum. Because once you go across the speed hump and you bump onto the surface, you are punching the road.
Okay.
A typical example is when you are 37 traffic lights. Just imagine just about 30 meters before you get to your surface for you to home. If you move from one lane to the other, you see that your car would, you are uncomfortable because you will go through some depression. And it's because of the spacing load when you are waiting for a train to move. So you are exerting a certain load onto the asphalt. So if you start to have all the approaches of the speed ramp, all the approaches of the traffic light, about 30 meters or 40 meters minimum to be constructed with concrete or pavement. If you look at Pabinia roundabout, I have seen that has been done. So all the roundabouts have been changed with the pavement blocks.
And even on Boundary Road, East Legon, the roundabout there, they've done that as well.
I started advocating for this about 10 years ago, and I think it turned down some of the consultants, and they introduced. I've been hammering on this for almost like 5 years now, and I'm beginning to see flourishing in the country where almost all signals and intersections are beginning to have some of this, so that when you don't have one purpose of a pothole, the road will not deteriorate faster. So I propose that all the speed ramps that we have, either on the highways or the urban roads, at both approaches of the speed ramp, the ones which are properly designed should have the pavement blocks or the concrete about 30, so that when the vehicles get there and they are exiting down the road, because the pavement is a rigid pavement like the motorway, you don't get the depressions on the road. Because they actually transition from an asphalt on a level surface to the concrete on a level surface before they go on the ramp. And the ramps that we are seeing now, some of the ramps, like the reporter rightly said, they're about 1 foot. Ideally, the best speed ramp you can find around Accra, just go around the American Embassy. This is the typical example of a very well-designed ramp. It is so slow, it is so small, but the essence is felt. I mean, the purpose of the speed ramp, because you cannot go across it with any speed, but you will feel that you've actually gone across a certain speed ramp. And I hear people say that, like the document I've been hearing over the past 1 week from other sister networks, that the Ghana Highway Authority do not provide adequate information science to their design for their speed ramps. It's not true. Before you get to the speed ramp proper, you will have to, if it's a urban road in town, you see that 50 meters before, or 100 meters before, there is this red sign.
There's a red sign,
which says that you are approaching the speed ramp. Now, when you get to the blue one, is the exact location. Now, I've also engaged the police that they are also at fault in most cases. When vehicles run across and then they destroy this drum, and the police pick this detail first and then release the vehicle to the owners, it's only proper that the police would engage the urban route, if it's an urban route, or would engage the highway, and then these drivers would need their insurance to remedy the damage, what do you call it, road furniture.
Yes,
but
exactly.
in most cases, when they finish testing the vehicle, they allow the vehicle to go. But these vehicles are insured. And we can't overburden government when every road furniture, not only the bank road, for instance, from Pokwatu to Awoshi, almost all the guardrails have been damaged by vehicles. And these are mostly tested by the police. Few ones are at the blind side anyway. But all the vehicles that are engaged and involved in this accident, when they get to the police must get the report to the urban route, the highway, for them to take it after there when they are done with their test. So that the insurance companies would now be constructing or be charged for the construction of this road furniture. Otherwise, the Ghana Highway Authority Safety Division cannot construct a road and will not put in the adequate information measures or notification for the promoters on the highways. It's absolutely falsehood.
I mean, what you're saying, it seems like a no-brainer, but I don't understand why police has, first of all, the system doesn't seem to function that way, because the police should bring in the Department of Urban Roads or Roads and Highways, and then they should also task the insurance companies to, pay for the car that you insure. Is responsible for this damage. So we are coming to collect the
And I mean, we're mentioning guardrails,
Yes.
but traffic lights that have been knocked down, street lights that have been knocked down. Sometimes you're driving and these things have been bent because of the impact and it's protruding into the road, and now becomes a hazard for other drivers, pedestrians, and so on. So I mean, clearly
for the longest time there was a traffic light that was acting like it looked like a javelin on the road.
Just jutting out
on the Tesano to Caprice Road. It was just dangerous, and I think that these are the things that, so let me ask you, engineer, as you leave us, when we see road furniture damage, who do we point to as the people responsible to jump on it and deal with it, either to remove the damage thing or to remove and replace the damage furniture?
So once most of the time these vehicles that get involved in accidents, the first point of call is the police most of the time. We must admit that a lot of some of them we don't get it. When the damage is very minimal, they move their cars away. That's where the citizenship must also be acting. When you see a vehicle which has actually damaged a certain property that belongs to the state, don't just allow the vehicle to move away. You can take the details as a citizen and then give it to the police. Because these vehicles are all insured. Can you imagine that I am using a comprehensive most of the time because of the vehicles we use, and you pay like 19,000 Ghana average for pickup.
Wow.
So how would you allow the insurance company to take all the money at the end of the year? If God forbid, if you are not involved in any accident. But once you are involved in any accident, the insurance must be working. And I said that the area managers have to also be a bit innovative. This is my own thinking that I've been doing over the years. When I was consulting the bureau, for instance, after the time, we gave our contact to the police at Okrofon, Manfi, and the Ebri. Should any accident happen on our road, would be called. That is why you see the road act so beautiful like that over the past 15 years. So whenever the police engage us, we deal with the appropriate authorities, and then we get the insurance companies involved. Then the contractors now value the cost of damage, and it turns to the insurance company. And then they readily, make money available for the replacement. So we should be innovative. The engineers who are actually assigned to the urban route, the assembly, that they should also take this. Move to the police stations and then leave your contact there. Because there was a time when I go to Pedlache Lodge,
Yeah.
A vehicle has damaged the guardrail.
Okay.
But because of it, my small citizen, what do you call it? A spirit. I drove back to the police in Ibri. Fortunately for me, when I got there, the driver was there. And the police was like, thank God you are here. You didn't know who to call.
Wow.
Wow.
Then I started for like 3 hours. I made sure that the area manager of Ghana Highway Authority around Oyaripa to Ibri was contacted. And then when I realized that I've actually handed over to him, I left.
Okay.
And then the right thing was that I realized that after a month or two, they replaced the guardrail which was damaged by a cement trailer.
All right.
That's my individual thing I did. But let me just break this news for you before you move, Ali. Whenever we see a car bent on our highway, that vehicle has an insurance. The spot where the vehicle got bent, in less than a year, that place develops a pothole.
Yeah.
Because the bitumen, the quota, the bitumen has a certain property.
Yeah.
Beyond 180 degrees Celsius heat, it becomes brittle. It cannot bond the chickens again.
Okay.
So over time, that place becomes the first source of potholes on the highway. So that's another form of accident that if the police come into contact with those bent vehicles, the insurance companies might be informed. And then we actually capture that area of observation. When it starts to deteriorate, the insurance companies ought to come and do the needful. That is why I stated on one of my Twitter handles that whenever we are engaged in any demonstration across the country, and anybody for that matter decides to bend a vehicle, a tire, or any flammable material on the highway, that person should be arrested by the police and charged for causing damage to public property. Because that place becomes a source of pothole within a matter of 6 months. On the Accra, on the Brie and Town Road, around the mountain, are pictures of vehicles that got bent over last year, and now that place is a big pothole that's planned across the whole stretch of the road.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I didn't meet the car which got bent on the location. So that's one of the things I'm just giving you as additional information to your viewers this morning.
Engineer, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. We really appreciate
it. I jealous you.
All right, so we're speaking with Engineer Abdullahi Bahama, who is a road and building consultant. Very, very adept one at that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He definitely knows his stuff. And lots of insightful submissions that he's made. I mean, of course, we're talking about speed ramps, things that are supposed to slow down traffic for obvious reasons. But
he refers to them as speed calming furnitures.
Yes, speed calming furnitures. But he's given us a crash course, really a master class on anything that has to do with road furniture and how, even as citizens, we should be responding to things. You know, look, there's a reason why we started doing the war against indiscipline at Citi, right? Because there's just obviously too much recalcitrant behavior on our roads. And speeding beyond speed limits is one of those things. You see a community that's supposed to be residential. You're not supposed to be doing...
More than 50.
No, even 50 is high. You're driving within a community where people are walking, and then you know school children will be crossing, and you're just speeding. You know, without any regard for human beings, people's pets.
We don't care about those things, you know. It's like people just, and he'll get, and I always say human beings will get away with whatever they're allowed to get away with.
And people don't even take a look at the speed limits. Meanwhile, on some of these highways that we're talking about, you actually see the indication. So the road sign is there.
As you're approaching,
either a 50 or 25 or 80 or whatever it is.
80 for the high open
no
road.
Regard.
And then
no regard for it.
Know.
No regard for it. So
and then 50 for the town.
We also have a part to play because here we are saying, okay, well, people will get up and construct a speed calming piece of furniture, a speed ramp or whatever they would think they're constructing, because they're trying to prevent the lives of their family, their friends, their community from being lost, right? However, if there's a speed limit, the Assembly or Roads and Highways is not going to think it's prudent to put a speed ramp there because they expect people who have been licensed to drive by the state and who have a responsibility to behave responsibly on the road, not to drive beyond a certain, speed limit, so that when you get to a place and a pedestrian is crossing, you can easily slow down and you're less likely to knock the person down.
Yeah.
You know, and then also pedestrians just running across the road like
going
rodents. Bathroom to hall. No, you can't be doing that. So
again, a lot of our highways are constructed in towns that have existed already.
Of course,
before the highway came. You know, so
we also need to be mindful of such things. I remember when years ago, you'd have the police or people within the municipal assembly coming to teach students and teachers how to cross a road. We haven't seen that happen in a long time.
We've abandoned all those things.
You know how to cross a road. You look left, you look right. When you're on a highway, when you get to a zebra crossing, how do you behave? All those kinds. So when those people also grow up to become drivers, they have those things in their minds. When they are crossing a road as an adult, they have those things in their mind. You see people, their children, they are walking with them. Their children are on the road.
And they are on the side, away from the road.
So we have a lot to do as individuals and citizens as well. But the instruction is clear. The writing's on the wall. You don't get up and construct a speed ramp by yourself. It is not legal. And you can actually be fined for it in court.
Right? Well, it's time for us to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. There's more to come.